I would like to mention that we are recording this webinar so that at least everybody knows that this is on record. We'll also share it after the training. So in case you need to refer, we'll provide it. We'll provide a link where you can access the training. Thank you everybody for joining us. I am curious, where is everybody joining us from? My name is Tabitha. I am in Heritage Hotels offices in Westlands, Nairobi, and it's an honor to have you guys on board. Let us know through the chat where you're joining us from. And thank you very much for honoring the invitation and joining us. Cielo Adventures, I see you're joining us from Nairobi. Thank you very much. Where is everybody else joining us? Anybody from Mombasa? Anyone from Diani, Nairobi, Kitengela? Peter Oseso, I see in the US. Thank you for joining us. Sam, thank you. Masai Mara, our dear host. John, thank you very much for joining us from Nairobi. Samantha from Kampala, thank you very much. Nairobi Travel Shop, Patricia, Nairobi. Someone joining us from Dubai, thank you very much. Gloria from Mombasa. Fiona Kampala. Jalpa, thank you for joining us from San Jose. We cannot express ourselves well enough. We are grateful for your support. We are grateful for everything you have done for Heritage Hotels. And we are committed to ensuring that we do even a better job moving forward. Like we said, if you have any queries, please do put them in the question and answer section. We will respond to them at the end of the session. Mary Sasbury, Nairobi. It's good to see some familiar faces. Thank you, World of Choices. It's good to see Diani Alof. Laudry, thank you for joining us from Nairobi. Irene African Eagle, thank you for joining us. Gabrielle CKC, thank you. Thank you, Judy. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar, and thank you to those who will maybe watch this webinar later on. This is a Heritage Hotels initiative to create awareness in terms of our products, and this is the first of many sessions that we are going to have going forward. I will start by giving a brief on Heritage Hotels, and then I'll let my colleague Sam Lesaita take over and give us an in-depth presentation on Mara Elatia and the ecosystem where that property is in. Heritage Hotels has a pride of having a couple of hotels. Maybe one of our flagship properties that most of you know about is Voyager Beach Resort. And Voyager Beach Resort is in Mombasa. We now have 250 rooms after the recent renovations from the 236 that we had. The rooms that we are renovating are the sea-facing rooms. So if you get a privilege or an opportunity to go to the hotel, you'll be able to see the new products. At some point, we'll share a presentation on that. But it's basically completely new rooms, a total of 88 rooms. We also have Great River Lodge in Naivasha. The two properties do a bit of both. So both business and leisure travel. With Voyager doing a higher percentage of leisure travel, but Great River Lodge seems to be taking up just as much in the last 3 years. We also have Samburu Intrepids in Samburu National Reserve, 27 tents, and people keep asking if it's operational, and yes, it's been operational for the last 2 years. Thank you to those who've been patronizing that product. We have Mara Intrepids in Masai Mara, 30 tents with 2 pairs of family units, and the same applies to Mara Elatia and Samburu Intrepids. That's a fly-in camp, so 99% of our sales is on game package. On very, very unique cases, we're able to allow agents to use their vehicles. We have Mara Elatia. I will not talk about that. I did not want to preempt Sami's presentation. We have Voyager Ziwani Camp in Savo West National Park, 25 tents. One of the places that you get to experience nature right within the property. Its signature experience is a nature walk, which is gives you an opportunity to go right around a dam that is the springs of Mount Kilimanjaro. You can also do a night game drive, and there's an option where you don't have to pay any park fees. So for those who have maybe sensitive or price sensitive clients, that's a product to consider. It's good to combine with the Amboseli and Savo East, or you could also do more nights in Savo West because there's a lot of activities you can do well at the property. We also have Kizingo. We have Mara Explorer, which is currently closed, so I will not talk about that now. We are hopeful that we'll have it for peak season next year. And should that be the case, we'll provide a presentation and hopefully even farm trips before the product is open. We also had Kipungani Explorer, which is also closed. Again, I'll not talk about that. That's in Lamu. But at the time that it's opened, we'll also share an update on that. Finally, we have Kizingo, which is in Lamu Island, right next to Kipungani. 8 bandas, a nice place for those who want to get away from all the madness. It's a place that's perfect for someone who wants to do detox, for someone who wants to write a book, for someone who wants a real barefoot luxury experience away from the very hectic beaches. Yeah, so in case you have any query on any of those properties, you can ask, you can post it on the question and answer session. We'll deal with that a little bit later. In the meantime, I'd like to welcome anyone who was not on board when we did our welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. This is the first of many trainings that we are going to do. And today we are focusing on Mara Elatia camp in terms of the property, accessibility, the breakdown of the rooms, where you can do your game drives, any other activities that you can do well at the property. But because my colleague and a very good friend, someone I've worked with many years, many years, is in a better position to do that, it's an honor for me to give him this opportunity to present to us the property. Sami, welcome. And I hope all is well in Masai Mara. Please go ahead when you're ready. Sami, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Tabby.
Good morning,
hello.
Sami.
Good morning, Tabby. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Hello, everyone who has joined us today. Thank you for creating the time to be with us today. I'm logging in from Masai Mara, right on the Mara Sea escarpment. And Tabby, if you allow me, I can start presenting on the property.
Yes, Sami, go ahead.
Thank you, Tabitha. I'm going to break my presentation into 5 pieces. So I'm going to start by briefing you about the location and the ecosystem so that you all understand where Mara Elatia camp is. First of all, I will start by giving you the etymology of the name. So Mara Elatia camp got its name from the Maasai word for good neighbors, Elatia. And it got that name because when they were developing the camp, they were looking for a Maasai name that would indicate the relationship between the community here and the investors that have come to build the camp. And this name was settled upon. And it's a beautiful name, Mara Elatia, a good neighbor. So for those of you that don't know the location of the camp, the first session is just to describe where it is. So if you have a picture of the Masai Mara, Mara Elatia is on the Trans-Mara side, so right on the Mara Sea escarpment, or the Ololo escarpment, as it's sometimes known. And it's overlooking the Mara Triangle, the Mara River. You can see the Serena Hill. You can see Little Governors. You can see Hippo Pools. You can see Kichwa Tembo Airstrip and Kichwa Tembo Camp right below. Up on the escarpment, we are on the same sort of altitude as Mara West, and then the next camp in between us is Angama. Angama basically is a stone throw away from the first tent of Mara Elatia. So that is the location of the camp, and it's about 1,000 feet from Kichwa Tembo Airstrip. So if you remember the old Olkruk airstrip. It's right at the entrance of Mara Elatia. So that gives you an idea of the location of the camp. Now, just to give you an idea, we have a small concession, a small private conservancy where Mara Elatia is located. It's called Partakilat Wildlife Conservancy. And Partakilat is the name of a small community to the southwest of Angama and has a school and a small settlement and crop farming and cattle keeping. So the conservancy got its name from that small settlement, Partakilat Wildlife Conservancy. So we are within our own conservancy, and so we have the beauty of doing our activities within the conservancy, but we also have the beauty of accessing the Mara Triangle and, of course, crossing into the larger Mara National Reserve. Again, if you pay for the park fee, you have the access of the larger Mara and the Mara Triangle, because all the revenue goes into the same kitty, which is the Narok County government. Now that we have an idea of where the camp is, let me just now try to break down what the property looks like. So Mara Elatia has a total of 16 tents, all of them overlooking the Mara Triangle. All of them can see the sunrise. And unfortunately, the sunset is not very clear here because it's high altitude, mostly cloudy in the evenings, and also forested on the top. So sometimes you see the sunset, but it's not as clear as those camps in drier country like Savo, Samburu, and Meru. So this is your typical sort of high to mid latitude sort of camp. So of the 16 tents, I'm going to try to sort of break them down. We've got 2 family tents that can take basically 2 families with one common shared area, and I'll share some photos shortly. And then we've got 12 regular tents. So that gives you a total of 16 tents, meaning that we can comfortably take 32 guests at full capacity. So one of the 12 tents can be converted to a triple, and can be a triple most of the time, just because of the girth. And then we've got 3 more that we could easily convert within short notice into triples. The rest are typically 5 twins and 6 doubles. So that is the configuration of our tents. We've got 4 game viewers that are open and ideal for game driving out in the Mara without any sidebars to sort of hamper your photography opportunities. All of them are 4-wheel drive V8 Land Cruisers with a fridge and equipped with binoculars, guidebooks, and of course our Koyaki guiding school trained guides who are all silver level safari guides with Kenya Professional Safari Guide Association. So those 4 cars can be used within the conservancy and also can go into the triangle, and we use them also for transfers within the Mara and within the camps. So this is just an idea of what the inside of a tent looks like here at Mara Elatia. The camp was opened in December 2022, and so it's almost 2 years old. It's a week from being 2 years old, and so it's basically still quite new. The tents are new, the chairs, the cutlery, the vehicles, and the whole team down there is just about 2 years old. And you can see the interior of the tents. This is one of the family tents that has a twin, and the other one has a double, and has a common area and a balcony right outside with chairs and tables, and also overlooking the Mara Conservancy. So this is the idea of what the tents look like here. The netting on top helps with the cooling and also gives the ripstop canvas at the bottom better longevity. So this is the idea of the tents that we have. You've got all the tents, the balcony facing the game path. So for those of you that would be interested in driving in, you would like to know how to access Mara Elatia. And for those of you flying or having guests coming in by flight, Our nearest airstrip is Kichwa Tembo. It's about 15 kilometers away. And when we pick you up from the airstrip, you've got the opportunity to proceed straight away on a game drive, or you have the opportunity to come straight to camp, depending on whether you're on a morning flight or an afternoon flight. If you're arriving here at 3:30 or 4, then it's probably not worth doing a game drive. So you probably should straight come to camp. And then for those of you that are driving in, you can access Mara Elatia from Itong Road, which is not as great because the middle section is quite rough, but the Land Cruisers do it very well. So you can drive from Nairobi to Narok, and then from Narok you proceed and you avoid the left turnoff, the first left turnoff to Mara Sekenani Gate, and you proceed to Ololunga. And right after Ololunga, you make a left turn into the Itong Road, which brings you to Ngorokori, Itong, Lemek turnoff, and then you get into sort of the Mara North conservancies, ultimately to Mara Yanta. And then once you cross Mara Yanta, you cross the Mara River by Mara Yanta, you come into sort of Olorona Kichwa Tembo, and you come up the escarpment without going into
Hi, everyone. I think Sammy is having some challenges with the internet, but I'm sure he will be back in a few minutes. Let's bear with him. Sammy, welcome
all right,
back.
everyone. Chabida? Yes, sorry, it's we just lost power for a second, so we are rebooting. May I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So I was talking about the access. And so one way of getting here is the airstrip, which is Kichwa Tembo. Ideally, we could also pick guests at Mara North, Musiera, and Serena. Those tend to be a bit further from us. So we advise that when you book your guest to land at Kichwa Tembo. It saves a lot of time and it gives them an easy drive to camp. So we've got the option, and I'm sorry I'm repeating myself here, but we've got the option of driving to pick you up, and then we can come to pick you up if you've already paid for the park fee. We can pick you up and we can come with a packed lunch if you're coming in on a morning flight and proceed on a game drive, and then get back to camp in the evening. And so if you're driving in, you'll drive from Nairobi to Narok, and then you proceed past Narok and you avoid the Sekenani Road and you go all the way to Ololunga, and then you make a left after Ololunga to Ngorokori, Aitong, Lemek Tunnel, and you come straight. It's a straight road pretty much. It brings you all the way to Mararianta. You cross the Mara River and you drive along the escarpment. And just before Ololo Gate, you make a right and you go up to Kawai Center, which is 2 kilometers away from Mara Elatia, and there you are. And once you arrive, typically a long drive from Nairobi would mean that you would probably do an activity within the conservancy so that you can save your energy for the next morning when you can have your early morning breakfast and then head out into the park for the whole day,
Sammy,
hence
a quick one.
utilizing your. Yes,
Sammy, a
please.
quick one. There's a request from the participants that they cannot see the PowerPoint presentation. If you maybe you
Oh,
can try and
sorry
share it.
about that.
Yes, yes, it's all right. Please share it.
I'll do that. Tabitha, for some reason,
Yes.
I don't seem to get
Let
I
me
don't seem
try
to get.
let me try giving you um try again.
Mhm. Nope, it's not showing me all the options for sharing the screen.
Okay, I think proceed. I will have Daniel check in the meantime. Maybe I just make a quick comment. For those who joined us a little bit late, we have mentioned that this webinar is recorded. So we will share it with you after the session. We have your email addresses. So we'll give you a link where you can download it in case you want to use it. In the meantime, I'm going to request Sammy to continue with the presentation. Some you can forward to me on email in case I can just try and share on your behalf. But
Sure.
but proceed. And thank you everyone for your patience.
Can you see it now? Tabby, are you able to see my presentation now?
Sammy, we can see it. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So I was describing the road from Nairobi, Narok, Aitong, Lemek, and then Marorienta, and then into Kauai. So if you use that road, you avoid paying the park fees for that day. Since you've been on the road, you avoid paying the park fees altogether. Now, once you're here, if you're going to access the Mara Triangle or the larger Masai Mara National Reserve, then we've got two descent roads. We've got two descent roads from our conservancy into the park. So you do not have to go all the way around to access the park through Ololo Gate. We have our own private access, and there are two of them, into the park. And if you choose to drive through Sekenani, and that depends on where you started your journey in the morning, then it would mean that you would have to stop at Sekenani Gate, pay for the park fee. And I would advise in that case, then you may as well spend the whole day game driving and perhaps come with your packed lunch from wherever you're coming from and spend the whole day to utilize your park fee and utilize the beauty of Masai Mara and then check into our camp in the evening. So I'm going to talk about a couple of activities that you could do while you're with us. So if you're here with us and you flew in and you'd like to use our Land Cruisers for your game drive, or you drove in a private car and you would prefer us to drive you around, you would use one of our cruisers, and that would be a full day game drive from 6 to 6, basically from sunrise to sunset. And the rates are right there. And half day would be half of that package, and half day typically means either the morning session or the evening session. We also have very beautiful sundowners here. The sun does not always come out nicely, but it's just a good way to sort of end the day and summarize your stay in the Mara. And we've got a good rate for that. And the photo on this presentation shows you how we do it here in our private conservancy. Within the conservancy, we also have 152 hectares of sort of fenced land with KWS rangers protecting 7 white rhinos that came from Meru National Park. And so if you pay the $40 to be within our conservancy, that also affords you an experience with the white rhinos, either on a walk, because you can drive into the sanctuary and then walk within the sanctuary to access the rhinos, or you can drive around and see them. We also have other plains game within the sanctuary. We also have orphaned animals that are brought to us by the community. We've got zebra and eland that are brought in, and we hand raise them so they're within the sanctuary and protected by the KWS rangers. So we've got great bush breakfast and bush dinner sites, all of them overlooking the Mara Triangle. So you're kind of hanging over the Mara Plains. And we've got a night game drive opportunity here in our conservancy. So you could actually go on a night game drive, and you can combine an evening game drive with a night game drive, and then show up for dinner after you've seen some of the night active animals. For the first timers in the Mara who would like to see a Maasai village, we're right within the community. It's a few minutes drive, and you can go and interact with the local community and participate in their dances and learn about the culture. Now, we also have as part of our conservancy. So our conservancy is about 3,000 hectares, but then we also have a cattle farm and where we do a lot of grass growing because we have a feedlot. And then we have another separate farm that is purely for crops. And there we grow mostly cereals that we feed our cattle. We've about 1,000 cattle within the farm, and we have a feedlot, and we've got silos where we store all the grains. We've got a golf simulator where you can spend a day, looking at the cattle, learning about animal husbandry in a confined space where the local community is learning from us. And we've got a greenhouse, which is organic, and you can handpick items from the organic greenhouse crops and then take it to your table, and the chef will prepare for you. And so the farm experience is a whole another experience, and you can spend almost a whole day there. So we've got several breeds of cattle that we keep. The Ankole are your typical sort of royalty animals that are from Western Uganda, from the Banyankole people, and also parts of Rwanda. And they're amazing cattle. I mean, these are the same sort of cattle, not particularly in terms of color, but these are the same cattle that you see on the Egyptian hieroglyphs. They are also found in southern Sudan. I have not heard of any record of them in Egypt, but in southern Sudan, Uganda, and Rwanda, there's plenty of this kind of cattle with this kind of horns. So if you look at your Egyptian hieroglyphs, you will see the cattle with this kind of horns. So we brought this cattle from Uganda, and they've been here with us for the last 2 years. And before that, they were on transit, and so they were being brought step by step. They stopped in Nakuru to sort of acclimatize, and ultimately in the Mara. We've also brought in some bulls from Rwanda for breeding, so that we could break sort of the genetic recycling. So we brought in some new bulls, and these are doing very well actually here. They eat quite a lot. We are experimenting with this kind of cattle and brown Angus. And if you breed them, because the brown Angus has a lot of muscle, a lot of meat, and a lot of fat, and the Ankole has a bigger frame, bigger structure, and can add a lot of weight within no time. So you see their heifers at about 3 years are already hitting 500, 450 kilos. That's an indication that this can be quite a good breed for meat, particularly for those companies that are interested in exporting to the Middle Eastern market. So it's a good experience for guests to get to see the different kind of cattle we keep. We've got the Maasai favorite cattle, the Saiwals. They're quite amazing. They're nice. They're easy to maintain. They give you meat and milk. And the Maasai come to buy breeding bulls from us at a subsidized price, particularly for the neighboring community. If you're from several communities removed, then perhaps we would not give you the priority like we would give the immediate neighbors surrounding us, because we want them to learn from this kind of practices. We also keep Borans. We've got two types of Borans. We've got the shorter Zambian Borans. The Zambian Borans were actually, they originated from Laikipia, went to Zambia, and they were bred for 30 years. And it's a different structure. They consume less, they're shorter, but they gain a lot of weight very fast. And then we've got the Laikipia Borans, which are bigger structure, bigger frame, and they're the original stock that came from the Borana and the Gabra communities of northern Kenya, and they were improved by the ranchers in Laikipia. So in our rhino sanctuary, we've got 7 white rhinos, and now I'm just talking about the activities. And these 7 whites were brought here, and most of them were 2 years old, 2.5 years old. The oldest was about 5, and that oldest was a big bull, is now about 7. and they've not yet started dropping babies, but they're mating frequently, and they do mate sometimes, and it's misleading. They'll try it, they'll it. So we brought them from Meru National Park, and the idea is to spread the risk of the white rhinos. So the white rhinos were brought from South Africa, and we started breeding them in Kenya to help South Africa with the rhino conservation. So we also gave South Africa rhinos to black rhinos that come from East Africa, so that they could also spread the risk for us, so that they could raise the rhinos in Southern Africa, and ultimately we can access that gene pool and bring them back into Kenya. So we took 7, and this is a common practice by KWS. They're always looking for opportunities of people who are into conservation and who would like to raise rhinos for them. So the founder population is 20 animals. Now we're at 7 animals. Once they start breeding, we'll bring in 13 more to start with the founder population. And the agenda is, if some other investor or some other community conservancy or a private conservancy would like to get a founder population, then we could easily donate rhinos from here. So that's the agenda. We do not have a black rhino within the conservancy. They need a bigger space. They're more feisty. And we do have quite a substantial number within the greater Masai Mara ecosystem, but they're difficult to see because they have bigger territories than the white rhinos. So you're guaranteed to see the white rhinos here in the Mara in our conservancy. So we've got a conservancy called Particular Wildlife Conservancy, and within that we've got 152 hectares of a protected rhino sanctuary. And we've got about 15 rangers protecting this sanctuary day and night. Yes. So, like I said, after briefing you about the location of the camp and briefing you about the camp itself and the activities, now you see why we're talking about you coming to Mara Elatia. Why Mara Elatia? So I've talked about the farm, I've talked about the cattle, the golf simulator, the crops the various crops we grow, the avocados, the macadamias, and you just walking through the farming activities right here on the escarpment. And of course, I told you about the opportunity to collect organic, vegetables from the greenhouse and take it to your table, and your chef will prepare for you. And the golf simulator gives you an opportunity to spend a lot of time there, particularly for families, and play all different games within the same simulator. You can play golf, you can play baseball, you can play American football, you can play rugby, you can play archery from the same software. So you can spend a whole day there, and it has a bar, so it has a cash bar, and you can spend a whole day there. We could also do your bush lunch right there so that you can have more time at the farm. So for people coming for more than 2 days, 2 full days here in the Mara, then you could explore these extra activities that would make your stay more enjoyable. So the Particular Wildlife Conservancy has also joined a consortium of partners, Kenya Wildlife Service, the Wildlife and Research Training Institute in Naivasha, which is the other arm of KWS that went independent, the Northern Rangelands Trust, Olpejeta Wildlife Conservancy, and Ruma National Park to reintroduce the roan antelope into this landscape. Antelope was ultimately decimated. So the Particular Wildlife Conservancy is intending to join the partnership to bring in roan antelope into this landscape. And the plan is for Ruma National Park to breed 20 roan antelopes that might come from either European zoos or Pianupe in the western side of Mount Elgon, or from northern Tanzania, which is probably the most closest individuals genetically to what we had originally here in the Mara, or bring them from South Africa. and the Southern African population are quite similar to the East African population. So the agenda is for Ruma National Park to breed 20, Patakila to breed 20, and Olupejato to breed 20. So these 60 animals will be bred, and ultimately they will be brought to Patakila Wildlife Conservancy, where we will sort of acclimatize them and condition them to the environment, and then release them into the Mara Triangle. And the Mara Triangle is part of the consortium and ready and willing to receive the roan antelopes. So again, the roan antelopes were originally here, and they were decimated by illegal trade, mostly bushmeat, and that has been controlled now since the days when the Mara Conservancy was registered in the mid-90s. Poaching for bushmeat has really reduced significantly. So we are in partnership to support KWS and other partners in achieving that agenda. Up here on the escarpment, there is also another interesting phenomenon happening. In 2020, just about 4 years ago, a pangolin, a giant pangolin was discovered up here in Port-Akilat. And now we're working very closely together with the Pangolin Project and the WWF individuals that are within here supporting conservation and KWS to protect the giant pangolin. So the giant pangolin is an animal of the Congo forest and Western Uganda. So we don't have any giant pangolins in Kenya, but 2020, they discovered some individuals, about 12 of them, roaming around the escarpment. Below the escarpment in Mara, we've got the common ground pangolin. But the pangolin we have up here is completely different. It's a giant pangolin. It's about 4 times the size of the common pangolin. And it's only found here. That's just a manifestation that the Congo forest used to stretch all the way to the Masai Mara in the prehistoric times. So we, as Particular Wildlife Conservancy, are in the forefront of conservation and participating fully in all these activities. So if you're staying at Mara Elatia, you will not only be able to do your activities within the park, but also within the conservancy and within our cattle and crop farm, and learn about all these great activities. We also support 2 schools here, 2 primary schools. They're both public, and one of them is the boarding school for the children that come from families that live in settlements, several communities removed. And the other one is a public school, but it's a day school for nearby families. We also support several health facilities, and we also have a health facility within our conservancy to handle smaller cases. Currently, we are carrying out a lot of road construction around our conservancy, within our conservancy, and the main sort of roads that link us to the bigger Kena and Kera roads, and we're helping the community because access up here is difficult. We did the first set of roads, and now we've started doing the roads again, so you are able to access almost all the camps on the escarpment, courtesy of Particular Wildlife Conservancy. And we shall continue with that. We are also doing a lot of small dams within villages to help the villagers with water. Remember, up here on the escarpment, there's no water, there's no groundwater. So you can dig for water if you're down but you can groundwater up here. So we only rely on surface runoff. So we've done a lot of dams. We've done a total of 42 dams, small dams within the community villages around here. And in return, they have given us maram, and that maram we have spread on the roads for them to be able to have ease of transport within villages and, of course, within the small centers around here. So, Tabitha, I will stop right there and give our attendees an opportunity to ask questions, and I'm happy to answer them. So, in summary, I've just taught you some new things about Mara Elatia, the location. I've taught you about the camp, the activities, the tents, the meaning of the name, and why Mara Elatia. and the conservation that comes around Mara Elatia supporting it as a camp. And that is the summary of my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you very much for that very educative presentation. Um, for those of us who can read between the lines, you can tell how passionate Sammy is about conservation. So if you're talking about being responsible and giving back to the local community, we have it all covered. And thank you very much, all our participants, for joining us. Thank you, Lucy. She says it's very educative. Thank you. Sammy, I'm going to take some of the questions, and I request if you're posting any questions, please put them on the question and answer. Avoid using the chat because they'll be mixed up there. And I'll take the first one. That's from Jalpa from the US, Sammy. The question is, do you have a map that can show the location? Sammy, do you want to respond to that? And you can share that after this.
Yes, I will share a map that shows the location of the camp.
Thank you, Sammy. Then there's something else from Gloria. This is about Ziwani. The night game drive in Ziwani, is it just done in Savo West or just around Ziwani camp? And I can answer this. It can be done in both, but the quality of the night game drive you get in Ziwani is amazing. Remember, you cannot go into the park because you can't do night game drives in the park. However, in Ziwani, we also have our own conservancy, which allows you to be able to have those night game drives. So I think I've answered both that. And the second one was, is a night game drive available when you use our own vehicle? And that the answer is yes. As a value add for Voyager Ziwani Camp, we give you a night game drive. And if you need flashlights and a guide, that we give you FOC. We also give you a complimentary nature walk of the property. George Agola is asking, is there an additional fee for the conservancy? Sammy, over to you. That's for Mara Elatia.
Yes, there is an additional conservancy. It's $40. So if you pay the $40, it will afford you access into the conservancy and access into the rhino sanctuary.
Thank you. Cielo Adventures, is it possible to pay park fees from the camp instead of heading to Ololo Gate? Sam?
Please repeat the question. Sorry. Tabby, please repeat the question. I missed that.
Sorry, the question is it possible to pay park fees from the camp instead of heading to the Ololo Gate?
No. If it's our vehicles, if you're flying in and you're using our vehicles, yes, because typically we talk to them directly. But if you're driving yourselves and or you've got your own agency car, then they would have to go to Ololo. It's just that locally here they tend to sort of have a local arrangement for conservancy vehicles, but not road vehicles that come from Nairobi.
Thank you. Sarangi
But
is
Tabitha,
yes, go
Tabitha,
ahead.
but you don't have to drive around to go to Ololo Gate. You can access Ololo Gate privately from our conservancy. You descend into the park and you drive to Ololo, do your park fee, and proceed. So it doesn't take us long.
Thank you, Sammy. In case, Cielo, in case it's not clear, we can have a discussion after this. Sarah is asking Mara Elatia camp emails. Sarah, you can communicate with Heritage Hotels directly, but for the purpose of you getting any assistance that you need from the unit, we will share with you Sam Lesaita's email address. Thank you. And the next one is from Joanne. Hi, is there interconnecting tents at the camp for small families? Sammy, do you want to answer that?
Yes, the family tents. So the family tent is basically two tents together with a common area, and we have two of those. So it can basically take two families or four families depending on the size of the families. But the rest of the tents are standalone.
Thank you. The next one is from Bakul. Can you clarify once again if there are arriving if clients are arriving directly to the camp by road? Are you sure that you would not be required to pay park fees at them? I think Sammy, this is an issue of if you want to avoid paying park fee on the first night, I think we need to just clarify that it is actually possible that you can come in the first night and not pay park fee.
Yes, so if you're driving by road and you use the Nairobi, Narok, uh, Ololunga, Aitong, Lemek, Mararianta, Kawai Road, you would access our conservancy without entering the park. So for that day, by the time you get here for late lunch, then you would have saved the park fee for that day. But then the next day, you can spend the whole day in the park if you wanted to.
Thank you, Sam. In case Mr. Bakul, that's not clear, again, we can have a side chat or we can speak on the phone. Isabella is asking, this is Isabella from Plexi Travel. And Sammy, she's saying thank you for the presentation. Sorry, she's saying it's not a question, rather it's a request that we share more media to give their clients photos and videos. Isabella, we will share that. Let me answer that on Sammy's behalf, but we'll share that with you. Nicholas, he has two questions. One is, what is the minimum packs requirements for bush dinner, sundowner, and bush breakfast? And the second one is, are there any sightings of lions, cheetahs, leopards in our conservancy, Sam?
So the second question on the, also the first question on the number of packs. So we typically try to do 4 for these activities so that it's viable for the camp. However, if if the camp is low because of the season, say such as now, or such as the rainy season in April and May, then yes, we could do a minimum of 2. But typically, the minimum for most of the seasons is 4. And the second question on lions, cheetahs, and leopards, we do not have any cheetah up here on the escarpment, but we have leopard, which is quite elusive, but I've seen it myself on Game Drive on a few times. And we have a pride of lions right below the escarpment. The night before last, they killed an eland right by our water dam. And when I went to do my patrols, I found the carcass of the eland, and its baby was still around, and the lions had taken cover. I'm sure they've come at night to continue with the feasting. So we do have a small pride of lions that commutes between us and Ololo Gate.
Thank you, Sammy. John is asking, is Elatia inside or outside, and how much park fees for non-resident and residents? Over to you, Sammy.
So Elatia is outside the park. So we have $40 for both residents and non-residents to visit our rhino sanctuary and our conservancy. However, when you go into the Mara Triangle, also known as the Mara Conservancy, which is a section of the Masai Mara National Reserve, you pay the county government the published rates for residents and non-residents. And I think recently they passed a law that 1st of July to 31st of December, it's $200 for non-residents, and I think it's 3,000 shillings for Kenyan citizens. And during the low season, it is $100 for non-residents, and I think it's 1,500 for the Kenyan citizens. But that's county government revenue. So the more we can keep you within our conservancy and do activities, the better for you. But because people come from across the world to see the Mara, it's very difficult not to let them go into the Mara and to see the Mara River and the hippos and the border and all the great game down there. But one day should be sufficient for that.
Thank you. Elizabeth Kamau is asking, is there an all-inclusive rate that can cover for the additional activities in Mara Elatia, or are these to be paid separately? And I can answer that. A few weeks, maybe a month ago, we sent out something that gives you an itinerary that you can use for Mara Elatia. And in that itinerary, we had incorporated the sanctuary fees and the activities at a subsidized price, which means if the first night you're not going into the park, we had put in $40 and we are giving you two activities. And we did give a provision for other activities that you can do. We can share that. If this is specific to Elizabeth, then we will communicate with her. But if the others who would also like to relook at that now that you have more information, we can also circulate it again. Janet Owino is asking, which other properties of yours do you compare to Mara Elatia? And I think I'd love to answer this. And my answer is not necessarily related to the physical location, but the activities. Voyager Ziwani Camp and Mara Elatia are like twins. They both have farms, they both have night game drives, they both have nature walks that are really something that everybody should encounter once in their lifetime. And I think if you go to both properties at different times, you will see some similarities. We are doing large scale farming and we are trying to give back to the local community by teaching them how to do the same because that's a way of their livelihood, to be honest. So that's just my take. Otherwise, in terms of other activities, it's not, I wouldn't say it's the same as any other. The only similarities I see on my part is the fact that there's a lot that is the two properties have in common. George Ogola is asking, does Marelatia have a swimming pool? Sam, would you like to answer?
Yes, Tabi. So, Mr. Ogola, we do not have a swimming pool at Mara Elatia. We are flirting with the idea and the location of the swimming pool. And the dream is that next year, by high season, say the summer of next year, we should be able to have a swimming pool so that our guests can enjoy, in between activities, a nice dip in the pool. But we do not have a swimming pool at the moment.
Thank you, Sammy. Reshma, thank you for joining us. She also asked about the swimming pool, so that's been answered. And Lucy is asking again, that means you can entirely avoid park fees.
Yes, correct. Correct. You can entirely avoid park fees altogether. So I've had Kenyan guests or Kenyan citizens that come and stay here and they do a walk. They go to see the cattle, they go to the greenhouse, they go to the rhino sanctuary, they do a morning drive, they do an evening drive. They spend their entire time up here and they don't go into the park and go back. But again, if you're an international guest, that might be a different story. But for Kenyan citizens, you can actually hack it from up here at Particulate Wildlife Conservancy.
Thank you, Sammy. We are running out of time, but I'll try and extend that by a few minutes just to answer the queries that are there. We also have Stambuthia asking, is a conservancy fees mandatory to all the guesting at Maraelatia camp? And because I've seen something similar from Mr. Bakul asking, is a conservation fee to be paid and why is it not included in the contract? I think you can answer those two together because they're related. It's about the issue of the park fee and why it's not in the contract or whether it's mandatory. I think that's something you can answer.
Tabitha, I think that this is a very important question. And I think, Mr. Baku, it's important that I make it clear that we don't double charge guests to go to come on safari. So if the guests are staying at Mara Elatia and they're doing all their game drives in the park, they pay the park fee, one fee. But if the guests are coming to stay at Mara Elatia and they would like to mix and match, so they would like to do a game drive in the park and they would like to do the Rhino Sanctuary and a game drive within our conservancy, that's when the $40 comes in. But we don't double charge. We don't charge you conservation fee when the park is also charging you park fee for that day. So the day when you spend within our conservancy, that's when we charge you the park fee. And that's basically the reason why it's not in the contract, because most guests that come here would like to go in the park. So the idea of them doing activities within our conservancy many times is an afterthought. Nobody kind of comes with prior plans to stay within the conservancy. They come with the agenda to go out every morning, every evening, or sometime for half a day or for a full day in the park. So we offer the option that in case you would like to be within the conservancy, there's a $40 fee, which affords you a game drive and affords you a rhino sanctuary visit. So we don't double charge. So if you have paid the county government to go into the park, then we don't charge you park fee. But if you decide to do the park today and the next day you do the conservancy, then we will charge you a $40 fee. And it's still a saving for somebody who has not gone into the park for the day. I hope that is clear, Mr. Baku.
I hope so too. I can see Mary was asking the same thing, but I think we'll proceed. Thomas is giving us some feedback about our beautiful camp, and he's grateful for the farm trip. We are still continuing with our farm trips, and hopefully at some point to be able to get everybody on board. And he did give some feedback about the swimming pool and more family tents. The feedback is duly noted. Thomas, thank you for your contribution. We will work on that going forward. And also Thomas is talking about, Mary has talked about nice presentation, and she's also asking about the conservancy, so that has been clarified. And Thomas again is talking about if you can have more tents for groups and we share menus for Indian food. The menus for Indian food, Sammy, we can deal with that a little bit later, but we are able to handle your Indian clientele. There's an anonymous attendee who has asked, please confirm how many vehicles you have, what seater, and how you handle clients who want exclusive use. Sammy, I can allow you to respond to that.
Yeah, so we have 4 game viewers, your typical game viewers with open sides and a canvas above you and a clear view and a folding windshield. And it can take 6 people or 6 guests. It has a guide and has a fridge for your drinks,
Sammy, allow me to
Yes?
interrupt you for a minute. We realize that we are not able to edit the webinar in terms of reducing the time, and you only have about a minute and a half to go. In the event that it drops, for those who would like to hear the conclusion of the questions, you can log in back with the same credentials. Will still be available. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll post this and we'll also provide the answers to whatever is pending. We still have about maybe 6 other questions to address. But Sammy, continue.
Yeah, so we have those 4 vehicles. So typically, all guests flying in tend to fly in and on a sharing basis. So basically, you will have 2 people come in and another 2 come tomorrow, and the guide will then have to mix those guests, like in many other camps. But in case we have a group that is coming in, either a group of 2 or a group of 6 maximum, and they request for sole use of vehicle, that can also be arranged. So we have 4 vehicles, and we're quite flexible with either a shared arrangement or an exclusive arrangement. I hope that is sufficient.
Thank you, Sam. John is saying thank you for your response. I think he's satisfied with what you gave as an answer. And for Waga, yes, we have special packages and promotions. We'll share with you guys after this. And for Bonfire Marianne, no, we will give you a price for the residents so they don't have to pay $40. We'll give you an equivalent in Kenya shillings. But please note the $40 is actually a special rate for you doing 2 activities. That's why it's a lot lower than paying for each activity on its own, but we'll give you a price in Kenya shillings. I'll go to the next one. Jafet, is a park fenced? If not, how is the safety of travelers ensured against wildlife encounters? Sam?
So basically, upon your check-in, Jafet, we do thorough briefing to the guest, and we have our security guard spread out across the camp. And so you are escorted to your tent, and you are escorted back from your tent to the main area and into the parking lot. And when you come back, it's the same thing. So you're escorted from around 5 p.m. until the next day at around 6:30. During the day, you are free to walk around the camp. Typically, it's quite safe during the day. Remember, we are actually outside the park, but we have created sort of a mini park within our conservancy. And so it's quite safe during the day. But during the night, because animals come closer to the tents, we tend to have security all over the place. And this is common in most camps that are not fenced.
Thank you, Sam. Kennedy is asking, how far is Elatia from the border and the Mara River crossing points during the migration? Also, how competitive is Mara Triangle in terms of the big five animals compared to other parts of the Mara?
So first of all, Mara Elatia is about an hour away from the border point. And I'm sure the border point he's talking about is the border point on the Mara Triangle, which connects the Lamai Wedge and the Mara Triangle. And so it's about an hour drive if you were to leg it. But it will take you about 2 hours if you're going to do a game drive along the way. Now, the Mara Triangle or the Mara Conservancy split from the Masai Mara National Reserve during the Moi days when it became Trans Mara District and the main Mara became Narok District. Now, when the new constitution came in 2010, they went back to the larger Masai Mara. So basically, the same park. There are no boundaries. I mean, the boundary is the Mara River. So the lions we have in Musiara cross actually into the Mara Triangle. So in terms of cheetah sightings, lion sightings, rhinos, we probably have more rhino sightings on this side. They probably have more leopard sightings on that side. We've got more sort of lion prides on this side that are easier to see than on the other side, depending on where you're staying. But I would say it's about 50-50. The difference is that the rules and regulations across here are very strict. And so if you're a guide or a photographer who would like to go off-road, harass the animals, you will be in trouble on this side. But on the other side, they can bend the rules. So the difference is the ability to bend the rules across the other side, while in the Mara Triangle, you cannot bend the rules. There's a specified time to watch the game and a specified time when you have to leave so that everybody else has an opportunity.
Thank you, Sam. The next one is from Mr. Bakul. Besides Elatia, why is there no concept of full board for Mara Intrapids? And I can answer this one. The two products are not competing. So they are both unique. You will find what we sell to one is not the same as the other. We do have guests who do both properties. So George, you're right to ask, is it possible to transfer clients between Mara Intrapids and Mara Elatia? But it depends on the amount of time they have in Masai Mara. So the reason for Mara Intrapids being on package basis, it's because that was a promise to our clients. The people who've known that product long enough understand the positioning of that product is a flying camp position as such. We also have invested heavily in vehicles and drivers who we assured that they'll have jobs. So we're also trying to remain ethical. So we don't just take quick business and render somebody else jobless that we had promised a job. But I did mention at the beginning that in very unique situations, we make an exception. There are times that we don't have a choice. For example, if you have a client who's physically challenged and we don't have a vehicle that is tailored to provide that service, we would not be unkind enough to not let you. But there are times that we are not able to, because at the same time, when we allow you to drive in there, it means that we are losing money, and it means our vehicles are also, they continue being there without being in use, and the same thing applies for the drivers. But they are in limited situations where we do offer that provision. I don't know whether Sam, you'd like to give a little bit more information on the possibility of transferring clients between Mara Intrapids and Mara Elatia and vice versa.
Chabi, you mean in terms of like similarities between or differences
No,
between Mara Elatia and
he's
Mara
asking
Intrepids?
the possibility of transferring. So, like, if the guest can stay in both properties, maybe 2 nights or so.
Yeah, so that can be arranged. However, the guest would have to, sort of pay for Mara Intrepid separately, pay for Mara Elatia separately. But if you finish your stay here, we can transfer you to Mara Intrepids, and they can do vice versa.
Thank you, Sam. Mr. Bakul is waiting for the farm trips. We will call you, and thank you for the engagement. We definitely are still doing the farm trips. We want everybody to be comfortable selling the product, and that's not limited to this product. We will do the same for the other properties. Teresia is asking, do you charge vehicle entry at the conservancy and how much?
We don't charge vehicle entry in the conservancy. It's only when you've decided that you would like to do a game drive, visit the rhinos within our conservancy, that the $40 per person applies. But the vehicle entry is free.
Thank you, Sam, for the clarification. Cielo Adventures is telling us they had guests who stayed and loved everything about the camp. Thank you very much. For Nora, she wants you to repeat again when the 200 pack fee ends. What I suggest, because this is something that is published, I think, even gazetted, and you have it somewhere, we can share it. We can circulate it. So Nora, in case you need it, you can drop me an email. We will share the document with you so that we don't, for whatever reason, we don't give you the wrong dates or the wrong seasons and we mislead you, but we'll share it with you after this. Mary, she's asking and about farm trips. How do you arrange them? I would like to join since I have never had an opportunity to attend. Mary, I'm not sure which company you work for, but get in touch with me after this. There are two ways we do farm trips. First, when we have a new product, we do farm trips and we try to put it's one of those very complicated cases. One, as an organization, you can opt to do your own farm trip and request us for support with accommodation. If you're giving us reasonable support and the number of people you're asking us to give for the complimentary or special rate, we will do. We also have our own farm trips that we organize. In that case, when we do, what we'd actually do for you is we would pick either those who are selling the property or those who seem to be sending inquiries and canceling, which means they are trying but they are failing. At times, we also pick those who have the potential. For example, if you have a new product and we feel that your market, say for example, we're targeting the Indian market or we are targeting the domestic and you're fitting in that category, we will definitely invite you. And we want to encourage you. We have nothing against other departments, but when we invite you for farm trips, please choose either your digital marketing department or the people who are selling, because those are the people who need to see these products firsthand. The others can be arranged later on, but for the official farm trips, it is very important that we get the right people coming to the property. Because if you bring somebody who is seeing the first product, they'll not be objective. But if they've seen a couple of other products, they'll give us feedback like what one of our colleagues suggested. They will be giving us objective feedback, but they'll also be understanding a property in a way that they'll be able to sell it after that. But Mary, get in touch after this. Another anonymous attendee asked, are you able to do intercamp transfers? That has been discussed, and yes, it is possible. We also do between us and our neighbors. There is a cost. We have an extra rate card for the prices. And yes, there's normally an extra cost depending on the location of the other property. Sometimes what the camps do is they do a 50-50. So we meet halfway. They pick, like if it's Marine Rapids, we drop a client halfway and the other camp picks halfway. So it depends on how far. But it is possible. And Joram is asking, are the tents in Elatia air conditions? Do you have ACs or fans? Sam, do you want to answer that?
So we have fans in the rooms. Every room has a fan. We do not have ACs in the tents.
Thank you. Another anonymous question. Do you offer laundry services at Elatia?
Yes, we have a fully fledged laundry. So we have laundry services at Elatia.
Thank you. Joseph is asking, hello, thanks Sam for this educative presentation. What are the rates for non-residents for kids? Joseph, allow us to send you rates after this. We will share with you the extra activity rates. We'll send you the contracts and even the rack rates if you don't have for the rest of this year and also for next year. Thank you. And also the same Joseph from Josetam Africa is asking, sorry, it's the same thing. He's just posted twice, but we'll address that after this. Then we have Charles Gakumo on the park fees. Clients will pay park fees and the conservancy fees. If the client wants to stay at Elatia but wants to go to do game drives inside the park, I think he's asking whether he's going to pay twice.
No, no, no. We said no, no twice. We said you only pay either the park fee because you've gone into the park, or you pay us because you've stayed within the conservancy and you've gone to see the rhinos.
Thank you, Sam. George, however, Tabitha, you don't have a ground package rate for residents at Marine Rapids. Actually, we do. Our ground package rate, maybe for those who don't know, is normally if you look at the flying package, the rate that is called the extra night rate, that's our ground package rate. So if you look at the flying packages, if you have a guest staying for 3 nights and you have 2 nights and you have a third night, which does not have a ticket, it only has game drives and transfers, that's a price we give for residents as ground package. So we'll clarify that to make sure that everybody understands. So those rates apply, and the same concept applies to Samburu, and the same concept applies to Elatia. So if you look at the rates and you see the third night rate, that's your ground package rate for residents. Lois Njeri, does the Conservancy organize any special activities for occasions like Christmas, New Year, honeymoon, and anniversaries? Sam?
Yes, we do. So we've got the festive seasons such as Easter and, of course, Christmas, all organized just like any other tented safari camp in Kenya or Tanzania. Then we also have, we would typically do something for your anniversary upon request and upon prior booking. And in fact, tomorrow for the next 3 days, we have a wedding happening here at Mara Elatia.
Thank you, Sam. Isabella, watu wa farm trip. Naona watu wa farm trip ni wengi. Isabella is asking me, how can I get more information on familiarization trips? Please get in touch with me. Like I said, this is the first of the many trainings. It's also the first of the many farm trips you're going to do. But I'm also asking you and I'm begging you, whenever you can, please promote our properties. We take pride in what we do, and we go out of our way to make sure that every guest who comes to us, whatever is within our control, whether it costs us or not, we make sure your clients are happy. So as long as you're supporting us, you will hear from us more, because we want you to know the product. We want you to support us better, and you can only do that if we support you. So please get in touch, Isabella. I will see what we can do about that. Paul says, so thank you very much. By this, my special thanks to those who are joining us from a different time zone, the people from the US, Jalpa and Paul. I know there's also one of our colleagues from Dubai, from Alpha UK. Thank you very much for taking time to join us. We will make sure that in future we have something in your time zone, but we appreciate your support. Paul is telling us, my guests are still raving about our recent visit. They can't wait to come back to Kenya. Thank you. Paul, thank you very much for supporting us. It's unfortunate I didn't get to meet you, but I still want to make sure that when you come the next time, somehow I see you. We appreciate your support, and we are very, very grateful. Mr. Bakul, for Indian market requires strict Indian vegetarian meal. Is it possible? Sam?
Yes, we have a lot of vegetarian guests coming in all the time, quite regularly, actually. We have a lot of Indian guests also coming in, and we have Indian menus that we can share. And so we've got vegetarian and plenty of it.
Thank you. And we have another anonymous attendee asking Tabitha and Sam, just a request, please expedite the pool issue. For some of us who sell to families, the pool issue usually knocks off Elatia. Thank you very much. I would have wanted to know who has sent that feedback, because we also want to get back in touch with you personally. I would also want to comment something that's general that we may not have highlighted properly. Something Sam did not say about himself. He was also very, very involved in developing the Young Rangers and Adventurers Club. A lot of the activities that we do in all our properties had something to do with his knowledge. And so in terms of taking your families to our properties, and that applies for Mara Elatia as well. In fact, you'd be very fortunate to be taking your clients to Mara Elatia, because you're going to the source. The activities we have, unless maybe the families haven't been to our properties before, the pool is a list of your concern, because even most of the other properties where we have the pools, apart from maybe for the beach, a lot of the activities about nature, kids nature walk, being able to identify skull and bones, lots of interactive activities for the entire family. So the pool may take a little bit of time, and hopefully you'll get it sooner. But if you don't get it, I can still promise you that your clients, the children, we take pride in what we do for children. Those who know us locally and internationally, what we are known for is family adventure travel. That is where, that's the heart of our business. So we cannot get wrong with children. And so maybe for the domestic market, sometimes they feel as if the pool, you're putting the pool for people to go and swim, but there's a lot more. And Sam, if you can, maybe you can just give a little bit of an insight on Young Rangers and Adventures Club and what you can do at Mara Elatia. Sam, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Sam, I was asking
Happy
if
to
you can say,
assist.
yeah, if you can say maybe I did clarify the issue of the pool in terms of the pool will address as a different point for everyone, but in terms of families, if you could highlight the things you can do there, not, just briefly, because we need to end up the webinar in a few minutes, because the relationship between the pool and being able to handle families may be unrelated. Maybe for most of us, we see the pool as a place to take the kids, but there's so much more we can do for the kids away from the pool. Would you like to clarify that at this point?
Sure. So we have a little stream by our camp, and so the kids can get an opportunity to go and track animals that were there the previous night. Of course, with a knowledgeable naturalist and a security guard from KWS. They go and walk there and track the animals on the sand and then back to camp. And then on the way, they can make bows and arrows and dress up like Maasai's and get painted. All these kind of activities that engage the children. But the other space that is great for families is the golf simulator room, where if you go, you can play so many games on the same software. So if you wanted to play golf, which I do regularly, you can play. And if you want to switch to an interface that allows you to play, say, baseball, that is also possible. If you want to do archery, you can still do on the same. So you can play about 20 different games, but indoors using a golf simulator. And it has cameras. It tells you how you're throwing, what you've missed, how far you've done, whatever. It sort of gives you like metrics of what you've done. So it's another opportunity for the families to have a great time within the conservancy without having to go into the park. And so the pool is being taken very seriously. We've gotten a lot of feedback from all of you and from others that are not on this call. And we are now doing the NEMA sort of EIA so that we can get the permission to do a pool. And like I said, we project that around summer of next year, we should have the pool ready for Mara Elatia. But in the meantime, we've got the kids' activities, we've got the golf simulator that will entertain kids for a few hours so that the parents can also have a nice time by themselves.
Thank you, Sam. Because I do not want to forget this query, Victor from 195 Travels is asking, which balloon services do you use for Mara Elatia?
So our nearest here, there are two basically. So we can use Little Governors, or you can use Skyship. Both of them are quite near. I think Little Governors is about 20 minutes away, and Skyship is about 30 minutes away.
Thank you. Jessica is asking, thank you for the presentation. Is a conservation fee of 40 applicable for both foreigner and East African nationals? I had responded to this, but I'll just clarify. These are very special rates we have done to make sure that we are able to move forward in terms of getting business. However, as residents, you don't have to pay in US dollars. After this, we'll circulate something that allows you an amount in Kenya shillings, hopefully slightly lower than what the non-residents are paying. So bear with us, we'll share with you a rate that can apply for the East African residents. And Nora is asking us if the Heritage Hotels rates are out, and I would like to apologize for the delay in getting out our resident rates. And yes, you should be getting the resident rates in the next few days. So yes. Lois, thank you for the feedback. He said great presentation. Do you have an availability chart? We'll be sending that out today as well. So we'll share the availability. And Lucy still says, special thanks to Tabitha for always keeping us posted on availability checks, offers, and being very responsive. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure it's an honor actually to support you. George Ogola is asking, so the update on Kizingo in Lamu, has a lot been redone? Is it open? George, just to clarify, it is not, Kizingo was bought as it was and it was redone. And so now we have a new product with 8 banders and it is operational. It was actually not even closed at all because it was redone during the period in May when the weather is really bad and normally it's not, the Lamu, most properties are not operational. And an anonymous attendee asked, is there any age restriction for any of the heritage properties? And the answer is yes. The restriction was for Kipungani and Mara Explorer, the Explorer brand. They are both currently closed, so currently we don't have any restrictions. When they reopen, we'll share with you the new terms. Judy from Voyage Afrique wanted to know if the tents are wheelchair accessible or the location of the rooms are disability friendly. Sam, I think you need to answer this one.
Yeah, so one wing of the camp is wheelchair friendly, and so the family tents and tent 1 to 5 are all wheelchair accessible.
I am requesting the matters regarding park fee. We will communicate them formally. I can see someone is asking park fee for kids, park fees in December. I see there's a lot of park fee related queries. We'll actually do a short write up and share it on email. I also encourage you to keep opening your emails because when you don't open them, it's assumed to be junk we are sending to you. So as long as you want to keep hearing from us, just you can open, read, or share with your colleagues where necessary. Benjamin, we hear you. You are late. You want to receive the live recording. We will share that recording with you guys. We'll send you a link where you can either download it or just watch from there. And thank you for those who are giving us feedback. They're appreciating the comprehensive presentation. And those who are asking about the farm trips will be in touch. We will keep you posted on the farm trips. Sam, there's a query about the driver's accommodation in Elatia and the cost. Please respond to that one.
Yeah, so it's we've got driver accommodation, and they come to eat at the restaurant with a guest, and they pay 1,000 shillings per day.
Thank you, Sam. Someone is asking me about, do you have Young Rangers Club in Voyager Ziwani Camp? Gloria, we have Young Rangers and Adventurers Club in all our properties. The only property that did not have that were the age-limited properties that are the Explorer brand. So if you're sending your kids to any of our properties, Ziwani has unique opportunities. They also have fishing activities. They do the same nature walks. They do a lot of different activities. We have a club where they can go and identify the skull and bones indoors and outdoor. So in all of our properties, we have something unique for the children. And as long as you let us know that you are booking children in advance, we'll also make sure that we provide something for them. So that is something that is available in all our properties currently. And if the properties that are closed are reopened, we will communicate how it's going to be. Laudry, I see your query. Sam, this is a unique one. Do any of the tents have bathtubs? A common request for the Japanese. I know he's in the Japanese market, so that's a special query. So I think it's also good to respond to it. Sam, you're there?
Yes, Tabby. On the bathtubs, we do not have bathtubs in our tents.
Thank you. And then our friends from Malindi, I get some feedback here. This Bahati saying that our clients were very happy and they really enjoyed Elatia. We'll see you in Malindi very, very soon. Thank you, Bahati. Thank you, everyone. Let me just check one minute if there's anybody I have overlooked. Last question from Joseph. Please confirm if you've open-sided Land Cruisers for game drives. Sam, you can answer that.
Yes, we do. They're very open, more than you need them to be open.
Thank you, Sam. I see there is one from Longren who has provided her email address, should like to receive the videos and photos. We'll send those ones to you. Lynette, we do not have an age limit at the camp. So for Mara Elatia, just like Mara Intrapids and Voyager Ziwani Camp, and by the way, the
Ziwani Camp, it's right there. I hope you can hear me.
Tabby, you're muted.
Sorry, no, I think it's my
hands-free. Hi, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sorry, I'll continue like that because I'm having a small itch. Yeah, so just like Mara Elatia, even Voyager Ziwani, there are hippos and crocodiles right there. What we've done, we take precautions to ensure that everyone is safe. And remember, there are people coming all the way from every part of the world to just experience that wildlife. So as long as precautions are taken, it's safe. So yes, we have no age limit for Mara Elatia. Sam Wawero is saying, thank you, Sammy and Tabitha, for the wonderful eye-opening presentation. It was well worth and hope to be able to sell Mara Elatia. Thank you very much for everybody. That's essential safari experts. Which conservancy area is Mara Elatia? That is from Bakul. Maybe that the issue of the conservancy and the parkway, I think we'll send you a reminder because we've already responded to that. And Mr. Mbuthia, thank you for your compliments on the driver guides arrangement for accommodation and meals. Sorry, maybe Sam, you can answer about which conservancy area Mara Elatia is. I can see Mr. Bakul has posted it twice.
Okay, Mr. Bakul, good question. So we are bordering the Mara Triangle. We are right on the escarpment after Angama. So that land after Angama that stretches all the way towards Mara Engai, that's the land the conservancy is on. So I hope that is clear. It's right on the escarpment overlooking the Mara Triangle. So if you are flying past Angama along the rim of the escarpment, all that land is part of Takilat Wildlife Conservancy.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and especially with the extension of about half an hour. I am seeing people are posting their email addresses so we can send them the presentation. We will do our level best to answer everything. If by any chance I have overlooked any of your questions or not acknowledged your presence, I apologize. It was an honor to have you during this presentation. We know there's a lot of work you have to do. We know there are lots of properties you're selling, but you honored us today by, attending this presentation. We promise the same support. I have seen people asking about special rates, group rates. We are open. We are a group of hotels that is open to have conversation. And I like to highlight and say, tuna support watu wadogo. I don't know whether any other way of saying that. We do not judge anybody by how big or small they are. So as long as you come in and you have a query and you need a special rate, you need a concession somewhere, you need some support with agents, maybe on familiarization, we will support you to the level that we are able to. Bahati is asking if you have an Italian driver guide or an Italian speaking driver guide. Sam, in case you have an answer to that, you can respond now.
We don't.
Yeah, okay. So at least Bahati, you know that. I know most of the business coming from Malindi, most of the guests are Italians. We will work on that, but I'd like to thank everyone. Sam, thank you very much for sharing with us your knowledge of the Mara and especially conservation. I thank every person who participated in this webinar. We are also going to send, if the email address you registered with is not the one that you want the email to be sent to, please drop me an email so that I get your email address. We will send you a link that you can download the presentation. And you have any other additional queries, please do let us know. If there's any other property, in the next 2 minutes, if there's any other property you'd like a presentation, please post on the question and answer. If there's a property, any of the Heritage Hotels properties that you struggle with, that you'd like to get some presentation, maybe Voyager Ziwani Camp, Voyager Beach Resort, the Great Rivari Lodge, whichever property you struggle with, whether it's Samburu Intrapids, Mara Intrapids, Kizingo, please do share with us. We will pay attention to what you're saying. I'd also like to mention that we have a group called Heritage Escapes, which is meant for travel agents. We post information there from time to time. It's a private group. If you'd like to join the group, please do let us know. We also have a WhatsApp group that you can also join. And we will continue keeping in touch. If you want any additional information and you're already in any of those forums, you can also post in that group. We will follow up there. Thank you very much. We thank you all for participating. We thank you for the support you've continued to give us. And if you need any support from us, we are committed to supporting you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. We received your email addresses. We received the feedback. People can log off at leisure whenever you are ready. We are thankful, but we promise to send you the presentations as well. Good day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.